Okay, so here we go into the team game. Japan, just to do a catch up back up to UK 7, Japan did 3 fighters and 3 infantry. Was their buy. The fact that they did not buy bombers was actually kind of good because they could have gotten 3 bombers out of that, right? Same time, they had to protect the homeland, so I don't know if that would have been good. But 3 bombers would have mean we couldn't bring this transport up into range and defend here in Season 48. So that's nice for us. Combat, they just took Kaza, and that's it. U.S., so for U.S., we knew we needed to get 2 fighters on the board. Do we put them back here with a carrier build where they could fly, or put them up in the Philippines? And so as you can see, we ended up going to the Philippines where they can get there easily enough. But we also needed that fighter that was in West USA has to make it in time. And so that was a tricky part. So we could fly him to here. Next turn, 1, 2, 3, 4. If we can hold this land, we can fly him into here, and then he's in Moscow. Or 1, 2, 3, land on the carrier shifting over to 61 and get over there. So that was our decision, is to get him into there. Next turn, we have to land him on one of these 2 spots, though. And obviously, we're going to be wanting to come in here. Part of our decision was the fact that we knew we need to get all these fighters, and so we're not going to be able to use them to help take DEI. That rather than take the, infantry artillery versus 2 infantry, we're just going to take Thailand and Borneo this turn, and then the next turn focus on DEI. So, or on US 7, that is. So US 7, we're going to look at taking these 2, and then US 8 finish off this guy. And then building factories along the way. So I'm going to look at when US 7 takes Thailand, you always really want to make sure you take care of this. Generally on UK 8, because unless you have a second US transport there, and that makes C-Zone 36 completely safe from fighters next turn. So I'm looking at UK 8, I want them heading in here. So last turn I did place my bomber up here so that I can take here. My debate was going to depend on what Germany did, which you can see what they did, and we're going to talk about that here in just a second. If Germany came back this way and we're going to be threatening Egypt, then I was going to need to come on back to India and get some more guys over this way. But Germany went that direction instead, at least for this turn. Now, they can reverse this very easily, and they may. But we are also probably going to give them an opening to get out of the Mediterranean, which may be trouble. Anyways, all of that to say is I don't need to get them back right away, so we're going to go ahead and here take New Guinea, and then UK 8, take Malaya, thank you, I couldn't remember. And then hopefully that leaves us time to defend anything. The transport could get to Season 34, grabbing guys and hitting anywhere along here on UK 9. Worst case, Germany 8, they come back, get into here. Germany 9, they walk to here, and so hopefully that'll give us enough to protect here. So the thing to learn of this is this UK transport's always helping that the fact that it has that 2 mobility. Early game we protected it over here. As we start to push Japan out, we start moving around, but we always are using its mobility to be able to keep less forces in Egypt and still defend, that plug right there when needed. So that's our main utilization there with that guy. In any case, that was a whole lot of talking about the U.S. turn of what they're setting up. Otherwise, we did purchase another transport to be getting units into Africa for defense. And then Russia, they cleared Kaza. I was planning on clearing Kaza with these guys and all my fighters, but it works out as well. So anyways, they cleared Kaza for us so that we'll be able to non-combat move our UK tanks in. It would be nice to be able to non-combat that US tank in as well, because now Persia's going to be dead zoned by these guys. I think with him having taken here, I may go ahead and move my 2 UK infantry in, knowing that Germany's going to wipe them out. But if we move the UK in here, then Japan, we'd have 3 infantry versus these 4 guys. So that should leave it open for the U.S. to be able to get that tank in there on US 7. That's going to be important for G9, actually. So G8, we're going to be fairly safe, with what he's got going here. G9, Moscow, is a timing we're trying to break and buy some time for. And I'm pretty sure we got it. Well, we do have it down to, they'll have a 50-50, which as Russia, as allies, I'm happy to give them a 50-50. Give Germany a 50-50. G10, well, I'm sure that's we're probably going to be toast on G10. And then it becomes a race. Did we get enough built up here? Do we get enough structure here to at least defend here? The worst we want to do is give up India, but we cannot give up Burma. We got to hold Burma, really Burma, Yunnan, excuse me. We really want to hold those tight. So the Germany, interesting thing, obviously, and I thought about this last turn, or after last turn, if they move out here and put their fighters up here, they're preventing me from really coming down into 13, because they now have, including this guy, can go 1, 2, 3, and then come down there in 4. So they have, or even these 2 fighters, I didn't even look at there, so 1, no, they can't make it. But they don't need them. They got 3 fighters, destroyer, battleship, so 5 units. The best I could plug is these 5 units. But he's got that battleship in there, and so not real good, and me just wasting units to get killed here opens up the Sea Lion. So we can't really block him from this point. So then we got to focus on dead zones. And also the fighters that I build in the Atlantic this turn, I really want them to be able to fly to Moscow, because they're a key part of the G9 defense. So depending on what he does here is going to really determine where we go in the next turn. So I think UK is going to defend this part, and maybe we can build some subs and bombers in US and be able to defend any movements into this part of the Atlantic. I haven't really looked at the US options, but like I said, we really want the carrier, UK carrier, in one of these 2 sea zones. But in Sea Zone 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, fighters can't make it to Moscow, so I really need them in one of these 2. So then I was looking at, okay, so what's pros, cons of each one? So if we're in Sea Zone 6, we could drop our artillery in Northwest Europe, as well as doing a land grab with the tank up here. We're not going to stack up here, but if he sends units this way to attack, great. That means we're not going to Moscow. So what's the difference literally between 6 and 7 versus grabbing the 2 here? The most important thing is 6. They can go 1, 2. The fleet could get down here. They could go 1, 2. They could get to 9. So they could defend these 3 is where UK could defend. If I put them in 7, we add in Sea Zone 12 as a possible defense from them coming forward. And if you think about the fleet landing in 12, then the Germans are threatening here, here, here. I mean, Sea Zone 12 really is a kind of nice zone if he gets there. But, yeah, like we're saying, we're going to need... I got a feeling we're going to have to build the U.S. up. And I'm just not going to do this. I'm going to come back to here just so we have options. But I think U.S. has to defend this. The good news is they don't have a carrier, so we just need to build enough to beat the destroyer battleship. And that's the most important thing. Now, he could come out with a destroyer block. But if we're in Sea Zone 6, that won't work. If we're in Sea Zone 7. I mean, if we're in Sea Zone 7, that won't work because he can't block both of them. For Sea Zone 6, he could put the destroyer here and bring the battleship out, and UK couldn't attack it, to here. But if we build enough US, I don't even know what that looks like. 3 subs and a bomber. It's going to limit us building over here, but it may push and contain the German fleet in the Mediterranean. And I don't know that, at some point we do, I mean, we're very low on ground here, so I'm a little timid of just dropping them in there. Plus, if I use him and I don't build ground here, they could take out my AA. So we're gonna let Northwest Europe go, even though it would be nice. We're gonna have to let it go. So all that's to say, the positive news is that we only need 19 fighters in Moscow on G9 to give them a 50-50 battle. At least that's what it looks like to me right now, I should say. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we've got 17 fighters on the board right now that can make it there. So we need to build 2 fighters on UK 7 that can fly in on UK 8. We don't have to build 3, which is good, because that'll allow us about the 2 fighters, but then we can go ahead and build another boat and a couple infantry. And I decided to go with another boat here because if the battleship destroyer get out and he's got 5 fighters here, it could get ishy. I mean, we are down to 5 versus 5 anyways, so when he starts building bombers to attack Moscow, it's going to get ishy anyways. So I like the idea of spending on destroyer, saving 1 because I currently have 33 IPC. Hopefully we're going to have 34. Haven't decided 100% on here on 35, 36, and then the plus 1 would give me 37. We could build the artillery, but we're just dumping them in India, and we're not really looking for much of an attack force here. It's going to be, we're focusing more on defense, so I think the infantry's fine. I'd rather just save the 1. Again, I have to decide whether it's worth taking this or not, because it will expose us, because I'm hoping for him to come over here. We're going to be taking these guys out, and yeah, so it does put us a little bit of an exposure. I think I might move them back up here with the green guy. I can move the... Yeah, so he'd only have a battleship and 2 infantry. So, yeah, maybe we'll move the infantry on up. Move the artillery AA over here with the US guy. Bring this guy up to block tanks. It's getting very, very thin through here. Well, that's why we're building 2 infantry here. I just don't know. I mean, he'd have to bring the transport back, and he wouldn't be able to hit these. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take that guy. I don't know if it's good or bad. I'm gonna not overthink this too long. I'm already late in playing my game, my turn, so we're just gonna do it. I gotta think about this too. I forgot about this. Do we want to push forward? That does expose us to 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3. If we take both those, but we're leaving this open, he could land his fighter there. We'd kill it, but he could get a shot at our U.S. fighters. We don't need the UK fighters in Germany this turn. So what if I put my fighters there? Does an artillery and 4 fighters versus 5 fighters attacking? I really want to have 2 ground here, even if I bring in my fighter load. So I think that we are going to keep. I think we'll take 1. Make him use his fighters, and then we can continue to trade there. I don't think we're going to take both of them. I mean, this opens up as US, and if he takes it, then I don't get any points from it. I just take some of their guys. I think we're just going to take the 1. And that'll go to UK. Don't forget to blitz the tank. And I think that's all our attacks here. Oh, come on. Thank you. Man, I was hoping to take it without any losses. Oh well. Put him back in there. You know, I thought I could put them on Iceland 1, 2, 3, 4, where they can get in. Like I said, we don't need them for G8. We're G8, we're gonna be okay. I can put them on Iceland and still land my fighters, and if I've got my fighters on here, they can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Iceland can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and match my carrier so that we could help further, you know, kind of dead zone these guys. As an option. And do we want to send our transport over this way? I hadn't really thought about this. If we put the transport and move our guy over, Japan's done. It gives us a chance to grab these guys. I think, you know, as I think about it, I really think they're safe here. He can't attack them. Again, we've got plenty of defense, you know, actually. We can even put one more down here just to, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he can't make it, so. Put him here as the block. That way the US guy can stay back unless Japan snipes him. And that way we have artillery, infantry, AA versus a battleship and 2 infantry coming. Where do we want to go with him? Do we want to go over to Season 2? I'm really kind of curious about this idea here. You know, we can go ahead and move him over. He's not doing any good over there because Japan's not threatening. 2 would let me grab and come back. But I can't threaten. Well, I guess I'm building. I would still be able to come back if I decided to. I could even go 1, 2. So yeah, why not? Because I mean, even if we decided that we wanted to drop that artillery, we could still have that artillery hit C-Zone 8, 6, or 3. We just wouldn't have 5 threatened. Which, on UK 8, let's see, do we want to affect him on... Well, you know what? Because UK 8... Excuse me, Germany 8 is when he's going to build, and then UK 8 is when I could threaten any build in here. Which we could have artillery, tank, and then fighters. So that may be worth not sending that fighter down this way too, now that I think about it. Because we got enough defense down there. We don't need him. We could fly more up there, but I really do want to make sure that you know, right now this is a little bit risky that the 5 fighters attacking there, although they wiped out their 5 fighters, they probably could chew into our fighters, which would make that Moscow defense a little questionable. So, what do we got coming in here total? We got fighters, so we'd have 2 fighters. You know what? We're not going to put him there. I'd rather have 2 fighters, tank, artillery, and cruiser threatening here, so you can't just build two tanks, kind of do a double stack, and then have this, you know, it makes the tanks risky to just build them in there that we could hit them and take those guys out. So, yeah, we're going to go that way. All right. Is that everything? Oh, in here. We want the ships to stay, but the sub... The sub by himself ain't going to defend the German Navy coming this way, so I'd rather bring the sub this way where we might be able to sneak him in and then have the fleet. So yeah, we're going to go that way. I don't want to leave. I mean, I could pull some guys back this way, right? As well. So right now we've got 3, 1, 2. These guys 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 3 fighters. If I leave my battleship here, so that gives me a carrier I could come through with potentially and land fighters on if we bail on Moscow. And this still leaves me 1, 2, 3, 4 versus his 3 fighters and a battleship to boot and destroyer coming in. And if U.S. decides to do something, I can always pull them back into any of these sea zones. Let's see, what does Japan have money-wise? Japan's got 36. They put 2 carriers down, and that would be, what, 28? So they could put 2 carriers and a destroyer down. Would we have enough defense versus 2 carriers and a destroyer? That's the question. So as much as I like the fleet being here, looking a little bit closer, I would not be able to... Oh, can I put them there? 1, 2, 3. That's going to expose them to shots there. Destroyer carrier. Yeah, that's not good either. Alright. So we're going to creep the sub over. Not much there. So what I was looking at is, because again, we really want these fighters getting to Moscow. If Japan was to drop a fleet J7, what would we be able to do? And I looked at what would 3 subs and a carrier, no planes, and then battleship, sub, destroyer, carrier attacking be able to do. And we could handle, you know, we make it threat and bomber. Because it's enough to threaten them at least. And prevent the J fleet and still have fighters heading towards Moscow. So, alright. Small change in plan there. As much as I really wanted to get them in range of getting in, so if the Germans doubled back, but oh well, not yet. Alright. There we go. Heading into Japan space. Now, I'll show I'm going to pull up the report, the war report. But you got to remember, especially as allies are going to really drop in attack power as we get going. Especially when we start building these factories down here and that's, you know, another 45 IPC that's going to be sent. So we're going to really start going negatives. You know, KJF is a lot about position and timing, you know, and holding off here while getting this set up. Because once we get set up, we should hold the income, and then it's just a matter of holding the advantage. But here's what a report looks like. So Axis is up by 7. That's going to get worse as time goes on. Now this round, U.S. is going to out by Japan, so we're going to gain a little bit here, but over the next few rounds we're going to see this actually go worse, where Axis takes a little bit more advantage when again 45 IPC of future U.S. money is going to factories, so that's going to be, you know, 15 attack power not going in there, so we'll see that drop down to the 20s probably, which is okay. As long as we got position and timing, that's the key. All right, a lot of talking. There we go.